It is Cecil, Lammey, and Andrew Mason talking about the Denver Broncos. We heard from Sean Payton. We heard from George Payton. We heard from Greg Penner today out at Centura Health Training Center. Mace, why didn't George or Sean say anything about running backs? Is that a concern for you? We've talked a lot about, they're talking, an offensive line and Alex Forsyth, and they're talking cornerback with Riley Moss, and there's just nothing said about what I think is a larger need than maybe others think.
Well, it wasn't asked about. I did mention the rookies, and he did talk about Jaleel McLaughlin briefly.
Briefly, yes.
It was interesting because, and again, this is sort of part and parcel of so many questions being about Russell Wilson. And that top, I saw you raise your eyebrows there. If you're watching on YouTube, you saw it too.
Yeah. Another Russell Wilson question.
It's part and parcel of it. It is a topic that is going to suck the oxygen out of the room a little bit, because if you didn't have that, I think there would have been more exploration of the roster, even though there would have been a lot of responses from Sean Payton of, we've still got to evaluate.
Yeah, we haven't done that yet.
Sean Payton was saying, we haven't gotten through the evaluation. We're going to sit down for meetings and then get some emotional distance and go from there. George Payton was more than happy to go through his thoughts on the rookies.
Right.
Like to rattle off that, you didn't see it in the games, but we saw it in practice. And I thought that was really interesting. And I think maybe you can, when you're making the game film evaluation of a player's progress, which you're doing for most of the roster, there's obviously the emotion involved with the results of each game. That's why you want to get away from it. But when you're evaluating practice, there isn't the same emotion attached to it. And thus, maybe for those players like Riley Moss, like J.L. Skinner, like Alex Forsyth, for whom the overwhelming majority of the evaluation is based on their practice reps rather than their game reps, they've already got their arms around what they think of their season and where they expect them to go.
Well, you're wearing the jacket today, but you don't have the elbow patches. But you're in Professor Mace mode. Isn't it study habits? Basically, The game is the test, and the practices are how do you study. And are you learning when you study? It sounds like Riley Moss, Alex Forsyth, Drew Sanders, these guys are learning as they study.
Yes, which then begs the question, if they're learning well, when you went out to Las Vegas, and I know you're going for 9-8 in the winning season, but still a game that has no playoff implications whatsoever, why weren't you giving them more run? I think J.L. Skinner got one defensive snap. He was active for the second time this season.
Right.
Yeah, he was active against Minnesota. He was active against Las Vegas. He got one defensive snap. Wouldn't you have wanted to give him a little bit more run, just to start turning the page and figure out where he could go? Wouldn't you have wanted to give Riley Moss a little more run out there? I mean, it was a rough game for Fabian Moreau. I think it's fair to say that Riley Moss could have played at least as well as Fabian Moreau did.
Right. Maybe he would have played better.
Yeah. Look what happened when you found out about Jaquan McMillan playing extensively in Week 18 last year when he got thrown out there. Turned out you saw somebody who was baller.
Right. Looked pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And we were talking about him in the offseason, you and I, based on what we saw that game and also based on practice and also the attitude. Let's say this for Jaquan McMillan
yes.
is that he's got that dog in him.
Yes.
And around here, if you've been following the Broncos for a long time, you know what having that dog in you as a defensive back looks like, because it looked wonderful back about 7, 8, 10 years ago.
Yes, it looked wonderful from Aqib Talib and Chris Harris and others. And the funny thing is like Jaquan flashed in Week 18. That's what I wanted to see, Mace.
Yeah.
And we didn't really get that. I also wanted to see more from the pass rushers. And it's like unfortunate that we had the Nick Benito injury, get a little banged up, whatever. Baron Browning was banged up this year. That's another position that I think we didn't hear much about today, and it's a larger discussion point. I don't want to say problem, but like you need as many pass rushers as you can get.
And the win rates weren't good this year. If we dive into some more advanced numbers.
Yes.
Right?
Pass rush win rate is what you look at for rushers, and it wasn't great. You also look at that for tackles, like how are they doing against pass rushers?
Yes, and there were some good win rates up front, except at right tackle. Mike McGlinchey was the one who was struggling. Although, as we saw on Sunday, I know there are probably a lot of people in Broncos country. They're like, oh, good, we'll get to see someone other than Mike McGlinchey. Yeah, Cam Fleming had a rough day.
Not a good day at the office.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I'm looking forward to seeing McGlinchey back next year, and I'm also looking forward to seeing him. Hopefully, if he doesn't have that knee sprain like he did this year.
Right.
He's fully healthy. Let's see where he goes. I think year 2 is going to be better for him here than year 1 was.
I didn't get to ask him. We did talk to him yesterday in the locker room as they're cleaning out their lockers. But this is one of those type of situations where, is he going to have a cleanup surgery? I don't think he is, right? But we've seen this time and again in the NFL where guys like playing and, he needs something, a little procedure, a little cleanup, a little scope, whatever.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say anything. And then like a week later, Mike McGlinchey went under the knife for a knee scope.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to happen, but he wasn't healthy this year.
You hear about that with a lot of mid-career vets, too, and Mike McGlinchey is coming off his 6th season.
Yes.
It's sort of like when you buy a house, after a while, things start going wrong. That happens when, because it's wear and tear.
Right.
And when you're playing a collision sport, a highly physical sport, there's going to be wear and tear that you've got to get cleaned up over time. And hey, look, it's part of the discussion with Russell Wilson, right? Because he's a 12-year veteran quarterback who's taken a lot of hits over his career and has relied on his improvisational ability, his beyond structure ability, more than typical pocket passers, right? And so how does that skill age? And it's one of the reasons why there's concern and why the Broncos were asking to have that delayed onset of the injury guarantee, to have the contract adjustment, because they were looking at where he was, how the outlook was going to look for him. Because it's not just about how he looks today at 35. It's okay, if he's on the roster the 5th day of the league year, that means he's with you at age 37, turning 37 in the 2025 season. What does it look like then? Father Time is undefeated.
And there is a small chance, we want everyone to play forever and ever, but there's a small chance Russell isn't playing when he's 37. It's a small chance. Again, I want him to play till he's 50 or whatever, but it's like, okay, we both want to see a healthy Mike McGlinchey at right tackle, but Reggie McDaniel, rest his soul, always used to say there's always a however in life. However, you want to see Mike McGlinchey as the blindside protector of Michael Penix Jr.? Does that weigh into the Broncos' decision at quarterback? Because if you get Michael Penix Jr., he's a lefty. Mike McGlinchey effectively becomes your blindside protector. I like Mike a lot. I do not want to see him as a blindside protector for an injury-prone quarterback.
Because here's the thing. He is a plus player in the run game.
Yes. Road grader.
Absolutely is one of the unquestioned leaders of that team.
No doubt.
There's a reason why he walked in first year as a Bronco and got the C for captain on his patch. He's one of those players who's respected by basically everybody, right? He got his nickname the mayor for a reason. It's not just because he can pontificate when he's answering questions from the media. He's good at making sure that everyone in the locker room feels like they're on the same page. Probably he's one of the reasons why Josey, Jewell, and Alex Singleton talk so lovingly this week about the state of the team and how guys get along.
Right.
Right. So Mike McGlinchey does have a lot of value there. But as a blindside pass protector, it is a question you'd have to ask. However, here's the thing. If you draft Michael Penix Jr., you're hoping, 10 years?
Yeah.
How long is Mike McGlinchey going to be your right tackle?
How long's his contract?
He's on a 5-year contract.
And when's the dead money go away? Probably after 3 years? So 2 more years of Mike McGlinchey?
Yes.
Is Michael Penix Jr. going to be healthy and safe 2 years than Mike McGlinchey is a blindside protector?
But can Mike McGlinchey be more effective if he is not dealing with a knee sprain that costs him all of training camp?
No doubt. Is there any chance, and I think the answer is no, but I just have to ask because I'm curious, is there any chance he'd switch sides?
Doubtful.
This point in his career, I don't want Garrett Bolles switching sides. I want Bolles back with an extension. And it sounds like the decision may be made to save the $16 million and move on. So offensive line.
So who's your left tackle?
I don't know. And it's a great tackle class, but you're not drafting a tackle because you have to draft a quarterback.
I mean, are you writing it out with Cam Fleming for a year? One thing we did learn in 2022, he's a much better left tackle than a right tackle. He's your swing, but we saw in that 22 season that he held up pretty well as the left tackle.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe is that what you're thinking, that you look for another swing tackle and that Cam becomes your interim there at the left tackle while you draft and develop somebody? that's a possible outcome here. Or it is a deep tackle class. If you are making a trade of another player and getting a second-round pick, is that where you're looking for a tackle?
Perhaps.
Because there are going to be some left tackles who drop to round 2.
Well, and that's why when we're on the road trip at the Shrine Game and the Senior Bowl, it's all about quarterback, but it's not all about quarterback.
We're not just watching the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean,
you better be filming the pit, brother.
Oh,
we got to watch the pit.
The cameras are going to be on the pit. I mean,
and batteries working overtime.
I may have to teach you how to shoot some stuff here because we need all this stuff.
We need everything.
But we have to shoot the pit.
We have to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's too bad we can't get up close.
Shrine Game we can.
Okay.
Shrine Game we can.
But remember at the Senior Bowl when I used to love that first day when they would have the practice over. Yes, you go over to Fairhope High School.
Yes. Nick Saban would usually show up.
Yes, that's where he always went.
Yes.
Because it was always South team. And that meant that all his Alabama guys were practicing there inevitably. Right. And so that's why when Nick Saban walked onto a high school football field in L.A., Lower Alabama, it was like the Pope showing up.
Yes, tiny Pope. He's a very small man. Big personality, small man.
Yes, he is.
With security. Always with security.
Always.
Couple deputies, whatever.
But anyway, the whole thing of it was, at that practice, the media had the same access as scouts. So we could go right up there, and I would make sure that I got kind of a front row shot to just have the camera rolling and get everything in the pit, man.
Rolling on everything.
Oh, my gosh. I've got some great photos. I need to frame some of them because, like, it's hand-to-hand combat, man. It's football at its most primal, right?
Where's your primal scream at? It is. I was going to say Orange Blue Today. It's Denver Sports Tonight. Yes. Orange Blue Today tonight edition to After Dark, whatever.
Orange and Blue redo.
Orange and Blue redo.
Orange and Blue after dark because it is dark. Yes,
something.
We need to get the saxophone music in the background here.
Yes, we do. The Denver Broncos are looking for help, and the way they find it might be different than you think. More on that next. Cecil, Lammey, Andrew Mason, Denver Sports Tonight. Want to check out denversports.com and sign up for that Denver Sports Daily. Hot and fresh to your inbox every morning. And Mace, you've got a ton to write over the last couple of days.
More to come.
I'm writing in my Bleacher Report style, and all of our stuff, no damn paywall. You can just check it out at denversports.com. And, oh my God. Today was so robust in everything that we have. And Greg Penner, in a way, kind of saying to the fans, hey, we get it.
Yes.
We understand your frustration.
That was his opening statement, focusing on that.
Yes.
The appreciation of the fans. I asked him about reasons for optimism, and I liked the response that he gave because he sort of went, this shows his growth as a football owner, a football CEO, because it wasn't generalities. It was talking about special teams. It was talking about the changes made in the medical and training program that led to fewer injuries to the point he said they're near the top of a lot of the metrics. And then, talking about the culture and how kind of the floor has been raised around here, right? It's really impressive to see Greg Penner kind of grow into this role. I mean, because you can know everything you want about the business world. It's different when you come to football. Football,
yes.
Because success is not measured in the profit and loss ledger. It's measured in the wins and losses.
Wins and losses and the help that they're looking for, Mace, to pay off my tees.
Yeah.
Helps from the fans.
Mm-hmm.
The fans, and nobody wants to hear this. I get it. You're going to have to be patient. But if it's a rookie quarterback, like a franchise guy, and just give me a name. I don't even care. Just give me a name, and I'll say Broncos Country, you back that guy.
Yeah. Any of these guys we're talking about, whether you move up and you're in the Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels conversation, or you're standing pat and more in the Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, or maybe even, maybe you're trading back in late in round one. Maybe Michael Pratt balls out at the Senior Bowl. Kid out of Tulane.
Yeah.
And you're trading back into the first round and you're picking him at pick 31 or something like that.
We've seen it before.
Yes.
At that game. We've seen guys go. Baker Mayfield was thought of as a borderline, high second round pick. He went to the Senior Bowl and he became the number 1 overall pick in that week. We've seen it. I've seen it. We saw it with Carson Wentz, who was seen as like a late first. It goes to Senior Bowl. He's number 2 overall pick. We've seen this before.
Joe Flacco, remember him?
Joe Flacco. He was mean to me. I never forgive him. We had a camera crew with
Senior
me.
Bowl?
Yeah, he was mean to me. I was like, what is this Delaware kid? I told my camera crew, I was like, what's this Delaware kid all mean? He was like not wanting to be interviewed. Joe Flacco was not having it. It was like I was Drew Locke. But I think the fan base, you just be patient with these guys.
I think so. But here's the thing. A rookie quarterback, even if you've got Jarrett Stidham starting week 1, a rookie quarterback means you have a direction. And I think also with what George Payton was saying about those young players, viewing them as starters, in light of the fact that he said they're not going to be aggressive in free agency in that first wave. They're going to be more selective in who they bring in. Some of that is out of necessity, but some of that is also philosophical. Not long after the free agent class last year, which included, first day, Zach Allen, Ben Powers, Mike McGlinchey, big ticket guys
Lots
at
of money.
3 positions, and even some smaller deals on day 1, like Jarrett Stidham was a day 1 signee, Chris Manhurst was a day 1 signee, and they led the league in money spent in free agency, and I was given the indication not long after that that was a 1-year thing based on the lack of draft capital. That was not viewed as the way to sustainably make this happen. Greg Penner
said as much.
And understanding that right away, I think, was really key. And I think it's having that philosophy in play, it's going to govern what they do going forward.
Right. And to me, that's another sign, and it was last year when he said it, though, Mace, but it's a sign that Greg Penner gets it because you just can't spend your way. This isn't baseball. There's your baseball reference. Did I do good?
You did very well, yes, because in baseball, you have the luxury tax.
You can just spend whatever.
But, Steve Cohen with the New York Mets has no problem spending to the luxury tax. The Dodgers have no problem spending that, although they have that creative contract for Shohei Ohtani. The thing is, it's not illegal by baseball bylaws. It makes me mad that it's like those dastardly Dodgers, right? Dastardly, D with a D, right? They found a way. Foiled again. But you can't do that in football. You can manipulate the cap.
Yes.
But ultimately, you can't get around it.
And that's why Rich Hurtado better have a leotard because he's going to be doing some gymnastics this offseason.
Nice.
There you go. These are the jokes, everyone. You hear that sweet Ronnie James deal, you know that means we are out of here. But Denver Sports Tonight is back here for you every night, 6 p.m. Make sure to check out denversports.com. He is Andrew Mason. You follow him on all the socials, @MaceDenver. There's KJ. He is the man in the box. I'm Cecil Lammey, and we are Chatty Blankety Blankers. That's what we do, right?
It's kind of part of the gig here. People wouldn't realize I'm introverted, but I actually am.
Yeah. Put a microphone in front of him. We give you wonderful things. He's Mace. I'm Cease. There's KJ. Everyone, look out and stay frosty.